Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The Babbling Bozos have made their return after like a year and a half, and we are going to hopefully stick to this. We are going to try and do a recording once a week, every week, and then I'll be able to post little videos throughout the week, kind of clipping up what we discussed. I know nobody wants to actually watch the whole thing, but that will be out there as well if you want to. And again, we have Big Z back.
Big J and Big Z back in the building. Babbling Bozos are back after the hiatus.
So we are going to start right off with the NFL playoffs, and we are going to give our predictions for each game throughout the playoffs, starting with the wild card round. We're gonna, I guess, we can go back and forth saying who we think is going to win each game and the score.
Sure. Yeah.
We're going to start off with the AFC, and the first game is Buffalo versus Denver. I will let you go first for this one.
Oh, Buffalo versus Denver. All right. So I'm gonna play it safe here. I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I think this game is gonna be close. Like I could see Denver upsetting here, but I think it's gonna be the Bills that win. If I had to give a score, I'd probably say like 27-20. Buffalo gets the win at home.
Okay. Is there any specific rationale?
Bo Nix, rookie quarterback. I don't necessarily. I know the Broncos been running it pretty well lately, but I don't know. I just think Buffalo's gonna win. Josh Allen, looking good all year long. He's MVP candidate. So I just think Bo Nix, big stage on the road. Buffalo's a tough place to play. I just think Buffalo's gonna get it done at home. I've seen a lot of people predict Denver upsetting though.
I mean, that's definitely the safe pick. If I had to pick as well, which obviously I will, I'm going to say Buffalo 27-17, with the asterisk that this would be like definitely the upset pick for me. If I could have like an upset alert,
Yeah.
it would be Denver over Buffalo. I think if Bo Nix can play well enough, they can certainly win this game. But you're right, it is a rookie quarterback in a harsh environment. They're probably not going to win. And then what sucks for Denver is if they did actually pull off a win somehow, they get to go into Kansas City next week.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. If they can upset Buffalo, I still think KC would beat them at home, but that would be a great game. Divisional. I know Denver just like destroyed them. I know it was like the second team, nobody was really playing for Kansas City, but I still think it would be a close game. Anytime it's a divisional game, it's gonna be close.
Well, the whole thing with Denver is, or the whole thing with Buffalo is they're 2-3 versus playoff teams.
Yeah.
Granted, the two teams they beat were the one
We're the
seeds,
one
which makes
seeds.
no
Yeah.
sense at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe their lack of depth that Bills fans seem to talk so much about shows out, and they lose the game somehow. But yeah, Buffalo is probably the safe pick here. So we can.
Yeah.
Do you want to go conference by conference, just straight down AFC, straight down NFC?
We'll just finish up the AFC first.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the second game in the. I'm not going in time order. Just the second game on my screen here: Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. And I will go first since you went first last time.
Sure.
I am picking the Ravens to win, of course. I am going to say we win 28-17. I'm absolutely terrified because every single person I've seen has picked the Ravens to win, and that never ends well. Now, why do I think the Ravens are going to win? Pittsburgh has been skidding. They've lost 4 straight. The offense looks absolutely abysmal. The defense, they looks fine. TJ Watt is a little banged up, though, which kind of makes them a little more eh. And then our defense is actually playing well. So, a lot of Steelers fans are going to say, well, we beat them the first time. They beat us the first time when our defense was kind of sucking. And they still only scored 18 points that game. So I have kind of very low expectations of the Steelers. And I think the Ravens should win this easily, as long as Lamar doesn't get his playoff jitters.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Ravens win this game as well. I mean, as a Ravens fan, I'm a little scared. A little scared. Anytime it's a divisional opponent. I did hear a funny, interesting stat though. Um, So I think it's like the last seven matchups. I can't remember who said this, but it was like the last seven playoff matchups between divisional opponents. The home team has won the last seven, like in the NFL. And I believe the average score for the home team was 34, and the average score for the road team was 17.
Mm.
So, not saying that's necessarily going to apply here. I mean, the AFC North is, you know, tough division, as everyone knows. But I'm gonna go with the Ravens for all the reasons that you had said. The Steelers' offense has looked, a little bad last couple games, last four games. Really, honestly, all season it's been. They had a good stretch for a few games there, like when Russ first took over, but I don't know. It was just hasn't been good. The X factor for me for the Ravens is obviously I don't think Zay Flowers is going to play. I think that's a big loss. So I think you really need to make sure that you're feeding Derrick Henry. Like Derrick Henry needs 25 carries this game. Um, and then another thing about the Steelers, if they don't win this game, we don't necessarily have to talk about this today. We can wait till closer to the
I was
offseason.
gonna bring it up. I know where you're
What's
going with this.
what's happening with Mike Tomlin? I
That's what I
think
was gonna ask
personally,
before we moved
personally,
on.
I think Mike Tomlin's got to go. I don't think he's a bad coach. I just think both parties need a fresh start. I'm
Well, the
interested
same
to hear
thing for
your
the Ravens.
thoughts.
If we lost, it's the same
Yeah,
situation for both teams.
yeah, I agree. But I think Tomlin, hasn't they haven't Steelers haven't won a playoff game in what, like since 2016 or something like that. So it's been a while for them. Uh, I mean, they've just been mediocre for like the last 7, 8 years,
Mm.
probably plus. So,
They've been one
I
and
don't know.
done
It might
since
be
then too.
time.
It's not like they're not making it. It's just they're
Well, the problem is it's hard. It's just hard when you have like a middle of the first round draft pick, right? You're never gonna get that like quarterback, that franchise quarterback. I feel like that's what they're really
well. We
lacking.
got Lamar at pick 32.
That's an anomaly. That's not often. I know Jordan Love went late
I mean,
20s or like 20s,
the,
but
the
what I'm
Packers
saying
don't
is,
count. They're an exception to every rule with quarterbacks.
yeah, I mean, like, they drafted what, Kenny Pickett, that was like a teen pick,
They were
and
like
I
arm twisted into picking him though.
yeah, I think they only picked him because he played at Pitt. If he didn't
Yeah.
play at Pitt, I don't think they take him. But yeah, I think Ravens win. Score prediction. I want to go like on paper. These teams, like the Ravens should handle business, two possession win should be, but in reality, I'm gonna say 27. No, I'm gonna say 28-17. So it is a two possession win, but I
Literally,
think
I'm fairly certain that's the exact score I said. I'm pretty sure you just repeated
is
my
it.
score.
Honestly, I don't remember what you said. You know what then? Let's go 31-17.
Okay.
Last time the Ravens played the Steelers, I was with a buddy of mine, and I was telling him we were gonna win 35-14, and I was pretty close, a little off, but I was pretty close. Um, but yeah, so I think Ravens win, and they should handle business. Just feed Derrick Henry
Yeah.
the ball.
I mean, the final note on that is it's going to come down to turnovers. If we turn the ball over
Oh
like the
yeah,
first game, we're going to lose.
turnovers and penalties for sure.
I'm not even concerned about the penalties. It's literally just turnovers. If we have another freaking game where Derrick Henry fumbles on like the first carry,
Yeah,
we know we're
yeah,
in for a long day. It's over.
yeah.
Okay, so we can move on to the final game of the AFC, which is the Texans versus the Chargers, and I will give you the floor.
Texans versus Chargers. So this is gonna be an upset in my opinion. I think I don't know if you can call it an upset
I don't
the
know if
way
you call
these
that one an
teams are
upset.
playing, but the lower seed taking over and beating the higher seed on the
Lower
road.
seed,
I think
better
the
record.
Chargers. Yeah, I think the Chargers win this game. Uh, I don't know. This game might have been a different story if the Texans had Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs, but CJ Stroud has had kind of a rough, I don't know if you want to call it a sophomore slump or whatever. I mean, he's still one of the maybe top, I would argue still a top 10 quarterback. I'd still pick him as a top 10 quarterback if I was starting a franchise. Um,
maybe.
But yeah, I would go. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I think the Chargers have been playing good ball all year. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about it. The
Score.
Texans have looked really rough, especially on that Christmas game. I don't know if that's just the Ravens are just that good or the Texans are just that bad. I
No,
don't
they're
know.
that bad.
I'm gonna say I think the Texans will keep it close. I'm gonna say the Chargers win it 21 to 14.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna pick the same team. I'm gonna take the Chargers. We're not really proving any anomalies here. I think the X factor here is easily Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
You have a coach who's already made the Super Bowl. That's gonna help Herbert out, who has very little playoff experience. He's probably gonna try to keep the game as simple as possible while still winning. He's not gonna give Herbert the chance to make errors. Um, because of that, I don't think they're gonna blow him out, even though I think they could. So I'd probably say it's going to be like 24 to 14, something pretty low scoring, relatively. I mean, if you just look at how the teams are playing, it very well could be one of those like 42 to 10 freaking playoff games. But maybe Stroud pulls a blinder and plays like last year's Stroud and shocks us all, but I don't see it happening, especially with the way he played in that Christmas game. That was awful.
Well, yeah, I just feel like he doesn't really have a lot of guys to throw the ball to. I mean, obviously Nico Collins is a great receiver, but it's like that's really the only guy they got to worry about. And then obviously Joe Mixon has had a good year, but the Chargers have a pretty good defense. So I think the Chargers will pull it off.
The
But I
biggest
do
issue
think it'll
though
be
is
close, and I think it'll be low scoring.
it's just like Stroud isn't like people are not open. Like, he's just missing wide open people. He's throwing high, wide. It's not like people aren't getting open. So I don't know what it's about. He was crazy last year where people were putting him in their top five, and then he's just falling off a cliff. But do we go all the way through the AFC or just back over to the NFC now?
Nah, finish the wild card round. Finish the wild card round.
Okay, well, we'll go continue with what we know, what we have. So the next
Yeah,
game
exactly.
is Philadelphia versus Green Bay. I'll take the first on this one. I will say that Philly is going to win this game. My rationale: Green Bay is a little beat up, to be honest. And I'm saying this with the assumption that Jalen Hurts plays.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he will. It looks like he's going to play. If he doesn't play, then Green Bay is going to win the game. But assuming he plays, Philadelphia should win. Love is banged up. He has like some weird ulnar nerve injury that's impacting him. He's going to play. But just the way they play, Philadelphia is the better team. As long as they give Saquon the ball, they don't try to do other things like just throw the ball 40 times like the Ravens did against the Chiefs last year. They should probably win, and I'll say like 35 to 17. I don't think it'll be particularly close as long as they stick to themselves, play their game. That's about all I can say about that game.
Green Bay was in the NFC Championship game last year, right?
Last year it was
I believe
Lions
they went to the
49ers.
NFC. Oh, okay. I thought they went to the NFC Championship. Never mind. They did upset Dallas in the first round, though, right?
Yes.
That was last year. Okay. Yeah. So I was really tempted to pick Green Bay here. I'm not gonna lie. But assuming Jalen Hurts plays, like you said, that's the big caveat. If he doesn't play, Green Bay wins. Although, honestly, the way Saquon's playing, it might not matter. But I think the Eagles win this game, especially like you said with Jordan Love's injury. I think both teams are gonna want to establish the run game, like give Josh Jacobs the ball, give Saquon Barkley the ball. It's probably gonna be cold. It's in Philly, so definitely want to get the run game going for both sides. I do think the Packers win this game. I mean, the Eagles win this game. I think the Eagles will win. I'm gonna go with 28 to 14.
We've had no close
Yeah.
games yet, which is interesting. One of these games is
I
going to come
hey, I
down to like
predicted
field
a
goal.
seven. I predicted a one possession game between the Texans and Chargers. So
I guess. And we do have
yeah,
to keep in mind for these Mid-Atlantic games, there's a chance of snow on Saturday.
yeah.
And
But I believe this game's on Sunday.
yeah,
So
there's this game Sunday, but for the Ravens game, and
that's another thing I'm
that would
kind of
help the
scared of.
Ravens.
You think? I don't know. I feel like we always play bad when there's inclement weather.
Just give
So
Derrick Henry the dang ball. Who wants to tackle Derrick Henry when it's 17 degrees outside?
I think it's supposed to stop snowing before game time
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
So
I know that, but it just, the atmosphere of
yeah.
it. It's snow on the ground. It may not be affecting the play, but it's really cold. Just another layer of something that could affect the games.
Yeah, I'm not
You,
sure how much weather is going to impact the Eagles Packers game because the Packers also play in a pretty
yeah.
cold
I mean, you could
environment
say the same for the
themselves.
Steelers, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ravens Steelers both play in that weather. It'd be different if it was like Lions or Vikings who play indoor. So, but yeah, I do think the Eagles will win. I don't know if I gave my score prediction. I did. Yeah, I said
You did, you did.
28-14. Yeah. I mean, you got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, assuming he plays, and then Saquon Barkley. Their O line's been really good. Their defense has been really good. So I think it's just going to be too much for Green Bay.
Okay, we'll move on to the next game. Buccaneers, Commanders. Who you got?
I have the Commanders beating the Buccaneers.
We're gonna have
Um,
all the same picks.
I have the Commanders winning. I think this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be. I'm going to go 42-38. Washington beats Tampa Bay on the road. Jaden Daniels cementing his offensive rookie of the year. Uh,
Hey, playoffs
yeah,
doesn't count.
I know it doesn't count, but just showing
It
why
counts. It
he's gonna win
counts.
the award. I think it's gonna be a really good game. Honestly, this is a game that I'm pretty excited to watch. Also, we get Marshawn Lattimore versus Mike Evans again,
If
assuming
Lattimore
Lattimore
plays,
plays.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
What's your
gonna pick the
thoughts?
Commanders too. So you mean you kind of literally took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say it's high scoring. I was gonna say 35-31,
Okay.
and then I also think that the Commanders are gonna win on a final drive. Um, high scoring.
They've been doing that all year.
I do think that this will be the only game they win. I know we're going to go to the next round, but I think he'll play really well in the first round, so the wild card round. And then
Yeah.
the rookie aura is going to take over, and he's probably going to lose the next round. But yeah, Commanders, I said 35-31. I imagine it'll be close till the very end, the win last drive. There's not much else to say. I hope for Jaden Daniels, honestly, that they win this game. If they lose, I don't want him to suffer another Lamar Jackson fate where people are going to start questioning him after one season. But we can move on to the final game, which is Rams-Vikings. And this one is kind of a doozy for me. Like, I feel like the Vikings would be a really easy pick, and I'm going to say the Vikings are going to win. But it's you get two versions of the Rams. You either get the Rams that are playing really well, they're clicking, Matthew Stafford's firing on all cylinders, or you get the Rams that are just terrible. So, which Rams are we going to get? Are we going to get the Rams that beat the Bills? Are we going to get the Rams that struggled the whole season? So, I'll say the final score is going to be. I just don't see this being a crazy game. Maybe like 21-17. But I could very easily see the Rams taking it to the Vikings and the Vikings finally croaking after kind of overachieving the whole year. So I'll say Vikings, but another one where I'd be like, this is a very easy chance to be. It's not an upset with the seeds, but in terms of record, it would be an upset.
Yeah. So, I'm excited for this game too. Honestly, I think this is going to be a really good game. Both teams, very good coaching, very good schemes. Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, both really good
You're going to tell me
coaches.
about their schemes? What schemes do they run?
Hey, look, man, I'm not a film study guy.
Good
right?
ones.
I'm not claiming to be a film study guy. I'm just telling you the offenses for both these teams look
Which
very
I
good to watch.
see.
Very, Yeah, the eye test, you know.
That's all we
uh,
know.
the eye test tells me that both these teams are very fun to watch for the most part. I haven't watched a lot of Rams this year. I feel like they were like I expected them to be good, right? And then they kind of, I guess, underachieved. What was their record? Are they 10-7, 9-8? What was their record?
The Rams should be 10-7, right? Yep, 10-7.
Yeah, the NFC West was pretty weak this year.
Well, I mean, the
So
Niners got decimated by injuries.
yeah, that's fair. But anyway, um, yeah, it pains me to say that we do have the same pick for every single game. I did select the Minnesota Vikings to win this game. Um, I honestly, I'm curious to see how Sam Darnold plays in the playoffs. Is this his first? Uh, is this his first playoff appearance for him? I think it is. There's no way he made it with the Jets.
No, yeah,
So I
it
think
probably would be his first.
I think this is going to be Sam Darnold's first playoff experience, and I mean he's had a great season. Last week a little rough for the Vikings, but the Vikings have had one of the better offenses and one of the better defenses all season long. So I'm picking the Vikings here in
It's
LA.
a safe pick.
Yeah, score. I think it's going to be 27-23. Minnesota wins this
Oh,
one.
that's interesting.
Close game. Yeah, but I think also that the wide receiver duo. Both these teams have great wide receiver duos. Actually, you got. I'm assuming Cooper Cup's healthy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cup and Nakua on the Rams side, and then Jefferson and
Yes.
Addison. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I think it really depends on Sam Darnold though, how he plays.
I'm not branding this as our individual picks. This is the Babbling Bozos picks. We have the same picks.
Wow. I mean, hey, when we get into the other rounds, I'm sure we'll have different picks. I'm sure.